So I'm getting annoyed with this again. Okay, so I thought I'd do a bit of an update on core materials, the progress I'm doing at the moment. Right, so I've been getting this nano crystal material inside the um, uh, holders. So I've 3D printed the plastic, and one of the issues with this stuff, which is really annoying, is when I'm grinding it or cutting it in any way, it flares out on the edges, as you can see. Let's see, on this edge here where I was grinding it, it starts to flare out. That's because of tear out. When I talk about tear out, what I'm talking about is this stuff is so soft that when you file it or grind it, the material tends to pull over, like like when you're cutting a cake with a knife, it squidges around the edges where the knife is and it bends over, and that causes the edge where you're working on it to get fatter. So you end up with let's see if I can show you this. I don't know if it'll focus very well, but it starts to flare on the edges, and then I have to braid it with a hammer to flatten it back out again, because it's really annoying. You can see that edge there where it's the light reflects on the edge there. It's bent out slightly, flared on the edge. Now it's a real drag because I'm trying to get this material to fit inside this plastic, and what's happened is, you can see from this edge here doesn't actually line up perfectly with the end caps. I stuck the end caps on after I'd put the material in. I slid it all in and I clamped it in a vise to try to squeeze it together, but it's still, I can't get it back the way it used to be. Obviously when I'm grinding it, it flares a bit, so I've got it as best I can. So I made corners out of this material. So what I started off with was these U shapes that were inside the core material, and I've been grinding it to get it the right thickness, and I have to cut it, split it into two, which is what the slots are there. There's a slot there, and there's a slot on the other side there where that is the hacksaw blade. This piece here in the middle pushes out, so this bit here I can push it out with both of my thumbs. I can't do it with one thumb. I'll put that in as to reinforce it, to keep everything snug, so there's no give when I'm grinding it, because I'm grinding this side and I don't want it to flare out too much. So I've got to keep this as tightly compact as possible, which is why I've banged this little square rectangle plastic insert in the middle of the hole to keep everything really tight and snug while I'm working on it. And anyway, this one hasn't been done yet. I've got to finish grinding it. I've got to cut it, split it into two, and then it makes these, oh damn it, I'm dropping everything. Then it makes these corners, these new corners. So I've got my ferrite ring, which will be coupling with my toroid cores in there, and then that will come down like that, intersecting with my output coils. But the thing is that these cores they're not very wide at the moment, so they basically fit inside the output coils, but as you can see there's a gap. So what I've got to do, because of the gap, I've got to pack that out with either ferrite material, which I really don't know what I'll be doing really, or I've got to make some more nanocrystalline packing to go in that bit there to fill that out a bit. And I've been measuring this out. So these are the two top or bottom, whichever, parts that will form, and my clamps will be these little brackets on the end, will clip onto these where these holes are, and that will hold them in place. and then my bobbins, my coils will go in. So so if I grab a coil, let's just grab one coil, and just to show you what I mean, so my coils will be on each side, that's just one of them, and with my concentric magnet ring, the middle there will be in the center. So yeah, just want to show you that. But the other material that's left over, let's go in the other room a minute. I don't want to make you dizzy, so I'll cover the lens up while I go in the other room. Try and do this without making everyone dizzy while I'm walking. Right, here we go. So the other material is here. This is from the outside. Now the trouble with this stuff is it's bonded together a bit. Now if I try to flatten this all out, it will end up with dents and things because I've got to break with a hammer. So what I was thinking about doing was making another 3D printed thing to slide this all in to hold it all together. But I'm going to have to flatten out these corners because I want to have some straight pieces. Or I could just cut the ends off to make my packing material, then I'd have to grind that down. So this is the two U shapes that I showed you were actually sitting in these parts here before. And this is the remaining material that I have. So I've been trying to flatten it as best as I can, and I've separated it as much as possible in the acetone, which I was talking about previously. So these layers will peel apart to a certain extent, as you can see. I've got them into separate sections, so it's not all completely separated, but it's better if I work on it with it all together, I suppose, really. But I want to flatten it out as best as possible, and which means that the rest of this is stuck together still got to be separated. So I'm going to have to use a knife to split it all, hammer it, flatten it out. Then it's quite heavy, there's a lot of material there actually. So then I use my vise to flatten it a bit more. Got my old reel to reel in the bedroom now, so I was going to place something Christmassy on there, but I can't find anything at the moment that's Christmassy. Oh, sorry, I forgot to I'm going to make you all dizzy while I'm walking around. Some people don't like it when I'm walking around with a camera. They say, oh, I'm going to feel dizzy now. Right, so yeah, so what I was just saying, use some of the other material to pack these out so that we can populate the full space, because it's basically half and half in there. These two sections that point down, if there's some at the bottom, they'll basically meet up so that it's let's see if I can show you what I mean. If there's going to be two bobbins, obviously two output bobbins, so these two are going to be meeting up sort of like that. Can't really show you very well, but you get the idea like that. So there's going to be a bit of an air gap in there, so I need to fill that air gap with something. I'll probably use some ferrite, or I could trim up a bit more of this plastic off the bottom so that it fits closer together. Instead of having a air gap like that, it'll be completely together. So I haven't decided yet, but that would mean trimming more of this plastic off the bottom. I can do that because there's enough room, because the bobbins, the coils themselves, put them right way around, the actual coils themselves, there's not going to be any interference between this coil and the secondaries, because of the secondaries, when they're on, if you look, they don't actually interfere with that. So yeah, I can move that a bit further down if I want. Right, trimming the bits of this plastic off, then I won't have so much of an air gap. Or the other way is to simply interlace it with some more of the core material I was just showing you in the other room, so that we pack this out a bit more so that it fills up the entire rectangle that's in there. Yeah, so anyway, just a little update on what's going on, really. I hope you're having a nice Christmas, everybody. Hope we all have a better New Year than what we had last year, because it really sucked, and I don't think many of us can take much more of this bullshit, really. I mean, somebody else was saying the chances of getting this virus is you've got more chance of winning the lottery or something. I don't know if it's true or not, but yeah. So anyway, so as I said, I've got to get this one done because I can't really. I was thinking at one point about, can I actually test just the top two on here? Well, I don't think I can really feasibly. I don't think I can get just the top two in here because of the way I've got these interlaced with the bottom section, but maybe I can get some loose coupling between the top section and the bottom section. We'll have to figure that out because I've got my other core material in there right now, and it's not exactly going to meet up with it. It's not going to pair up very well, but yeah. So anyway, that's where we are. I've been taking it pretty slow lately. I haven't been rushing things because, well, I've been working with this material the best way I can. I was going to go with the ferrite material first. I did say it was ready to go more or less, but actually I take that back a bit because it looks like I would have to cut some of the ferrite material anyway. And I hate cutting that stuff because it makes such a mess. You get black powder stuff everywhere. So this is just as bad grinding it because I've got my bench grinder across there, which I've been using to basically shape this and grind off the ends and stuff like that. I actually, if you look in there, I've ground those spaces nice and flat. This one is not so much. I've got a bit of a concave on it, but it doesn't matter as long as the ferrite coupling rings are flat against it. That's the main thing, because that's where the coils sit. My coils have to sit on these rings, and then I have another ferrite ring in there, so on, to go on there. Right, so get the idea. Anyway, I'm waffling again, I think. So anyway, I'm gonna go. That's all I've got really at the moment. Obviously, with it being Christmas, I'm not doing too much. I'm just chilling out and trying to keep my mind occupied with other things, and but I still find it more productive to be doing this job. So I'm doing a little bit each day, really. Partly because when I put this core material in this plastic, I had to stick it in a vise, acetone it, and hammer it and shape it, and then clamp it in the vise to hold it all together, and leave it overnight to dry out because the plastic is soft. And where this little end caps that I put on, which this end cap, you can see where there's a join. If it focuses, there's like a seam on there, and that has to dry out, otherwise it'll just pull itself apart because this steel is compressed in the vise. And I want to keep these wafers as tightly packed as possible so I don't start getting them peeling apart on me. I've done the best I can really with it. It's not easy working with this stuff. It's like when you make a great big jumbo sandwich, when you put too much stuff in it and the bread wants to separate, and all your filling fall out of the sandwich. It's a bit like that, really. You know, it's this core material. As you can see, the edges, the one on the edge there, it just doesn't want to sit against the rest of it. It's wanting to escape. So I'm trying my best to try to get this material packed in together, and it's a bit of a job. Yeah, I'm going to have to make some extra and then somehow figure a way to hold it all together because, yeah. Anyway, We've been going 15 minutes, so that's it for now.